Hi guys, it is Tanya, and happy spooky season. We are far into October now. We are approaching Halloween really quickly, and I thought the perfect way to celebrate that is to build something from one of my favorite childhood Halloween movies. And of course, I am talking about Hocus Pocus. Today, we're actually going to be building the Sanderson Sisters Cottage from the movie, and I can't be more excited to jump into this or more excited for the perfect sponsor for this video, which is Disney Emoji Blitz. I've been working with Disney Emoji Blitz for quite a while now, and honestly, they're one of my favorite mobile games to play. You can go ahead and download the game for free using the link in my description down below, and thank you so much to Disney Emoji Blitz for sponsoring today's video. I'm going to tell you a little bit about them, and make sure you stay tuned because I really think you're going to enjoy this game, but also I am hosting a brand new giveaway for a pack of your choice from The Sims 4. So if you listen to the end, you will get the details on how you can enter. Disney Emoji Blitz is unlike any other match 3 game on the market. Every single emoji has their own unique power up, and you get to choose which ones you use, which offers a really strong layer of strategy to every single game that you play. My favorite emoji is definitely Cinderella. She's been my favorite for a really long time now. She has just a really great power up, but there are so many emojis to collect, including the Sanderson sisters. In fact, Disney Emoji Blitz has a deep collection of Disney, Star Wars, and Pixar characters, with new emojis being added every week and month. There's even emojis in various categories, including silver, gold, and rainbow exclusives, plus story and villain characters. You're also able to access a special keyboard of all of the emojis you've collected in game and send those to your friends, which I think is a lot of fun for some friendly competition. So if this sounds interesting to you, I would highly suggest you check the link in my description down below. You can download the game for free, and that link also acts as a creator code, so anything you spend in game goes to help to support me and my channel, so thank you so much for that. But did I mention a giveaway? I think I might have mentioned that. If you're interested in entering a giveaway for a pack of your choice for The Sims 4, that could be a stuff pack, that could be a kit, that could be a game pack, that could be an expansion pack, any pack that you want. Let me tell you how to enter. All you have to do is download Disney Emoji Blitz using the link in my description down below. Get to level 25 in the game, screenshot that, and reply to my pinned tweet over on Twitter. I am Miss Gryphi over there. If you're already at level 25 and you'd still like to enter the giveaway, no worries there. All you need to do then is screenshot whatever level you are currently at, gain an additional 5 levels, screenshot that again, and submit both of those screenshots over on Twitter under that same post, and you are also entered to win. This giveaway does end on November 21st, so you have plenty of time to enter, so best of luck to everyone, and thank you so much to Disney Emoji Blitz for sponsoring today's video. Now let's build the Sanderson Sisters Cottage from Hocus Pocus. Popping into the speed build now, we are starting in the woodsy area of Henford on Bagley. This is 13 Nettle Lane. I thought that this would be a good spot to go ahead and build this cottage. I had looked all around the different worlds. I was really looking for something that didn't feel like it was connected to a road, was in the middle of the woods, you know, the vibes of where this cottage actually resides in the movie. And this is the lot I ended up picking because it feels kind of nestled in the woods, but unlike the other lot that's also sort of in this area, there's no cars off to the side, and I just thought it was a good spot for this house, and we didn't need too much space to begin with. So I grabbed a bunch of different plants from Streamlabs OBS and I placed those down, and now we're working on the outside structure. This was so much fun to do because I was using a combination of references that I found on Google, but I was also watching the movie and like stopping every time I got any kind of close up of any part of the outside or the inside of this build. So it's not going to be perfect, but it's based on my interpretation of where things were and just also some creative thought processes during the process of building this and kind of figuring out what I thought would make the most sense for the decorations on the inside. So I hope you guys do enjoy this. I was really excited because Cottage Living actually added this wheel to Streamlabs OBS, and it's kind of important for this build for that wheel to be there, so I was just pretty happy that it was actually already in the game and I didn't have to figure out how to create a wheel that looked realistic. There are some really talented builders that make things like that, but I am not so skilled with the tool mods, so it's nice that it was already in the game. And it's an important wheel because, I mean, in the very beginning of the movie, you might remember somebody climbing up the wheel to get into a second story window. And I used that as a good reference point of where they were laying and what their view was from that window for the interior. So anyway, right now I'm trying to figure out the windows on the front because not only are they placed kind of weird, especially on the roof piece, but the windows have this kind of like cross hatch pattern in them. But the sizing of them didn't really make sense with the ones that we had in the game. So what I ended up doing was stacking a bunch of these base game windows that just got new swatches on them to create the windows on the front of this build, and I think it came out really cute. I liked how that was. Also, the paneling on this house is so interesting, like where they have the different diagonal pieces. This is like the Tudor wallpaper from Get Together, but looking at reference pictures as well as the actual like in movie shots, the way the pieces are was very fascinating to me, because I understand like them framing the windows over on the right side on the top level, but why is there only one of them on the left side of the build around that window? Why isn't it framing both sides? I was just a little confused by that, but I was deciding here that we needed to put tons of ivy and vines and all kinds of stuff around the outside of this build, because there are a lot of them in the movie. A lot of vines, a lot of cracks and tears. It's a really old space. Of course, lots of spider webs and things as well. So I'll be adding those a little bit later when we get to the inside, but for right now, I'm just trying to figure out what sort of plants and stuff I want to have around. I definitely wanted like some like spooky-ish trees. There was this stone piece that was wrapped around the wheel over here, and right now there's no water over there, but I will be adding some water to this a little bit later now that we have terrain tools. So I'm very happy that I waited to build this until the year that we got terrain tools. Actually, when was that? That was over the summer, right? Earlier this year when we got cottage living. Oh, so good, so good. Anyway, this was a really fun build to do, and I decided that this door would make the most sense. I just really didn't want the butterfly or the wreath on it, so I turned it backwards. And I also noticed that in this house, it looks like there's like a little archway leading you into the space where the door was, so I have it set back a little bit like that, and I really liked how that came out. These are things I wouldn't have noticed if I wasn't like pausing frame by frame in the movie, being like, ooh, what does this look like? And then like adding the lantern exactly where it goes, which I will be doing here shortly, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm like, oh, there's a lantern here. Oh, and let's try and figure out where to put these vines. And then there ends up being like some railings on the steps out here as well. And then adding some more of where these paneling pieces go. I was just very detail oriented, at least at this point. When we get later on into it, when I'm decorating the inside and there's some empty spaces that don't have decorations, I was just being like, what would be in a spooky old witch cottage? And choosing from there. One thing that I didn't add that I really should have was a vacuum cleaner for one of the Sanderson sisters who rides a vacuum cleaner, which we have those. So if you have Bust the Dust, that would be a good item to add into this build. But anyway, these are the pieces I ended up using as the handrail. Obviously, they don't go down, they go straight there, unlike in the movie, but I thought that these worked the best based on what we had in the game, and they are from Debug they're from not Get Together, Outdoor Retreat, there we go. And then the trash can I put outside is actually from Journey to Batuu, but it looked kind of like a tin can thing that they had outside in the movie, so I was like, you know what, we need a trash can. As for a mailbox, I end up deleting the one you can see on the lot right now, and none of them really made sense for this lot. I didn't really want it to have a mailbox, but you kind of need one or it's going to auto spawn. So what I ended up doing is a little bit later, I put one of the wall mounted ones from Snowy Escape on like the side of the build, and I covered it up with greenery, so you can't really see it, but it's there. So anyway, on the inside, upstairs is primarily like a storage space with a bunch of like stuff. And then downstairs is where most of the scenes are, other than when the character, I almost said the sim, when the sim is upstairs looking down at his sister. But other than that portion, most of the interior of this build you end up seeing downstairs. You see like the staircase and the cauldron and the chair the little girl is sitting in. And so I definitely focused on that, but I'm adding some random clutter up here as well. And it was definitely a process trying to figure out where things were situated in this build, because you remember the movie, and watching the movie, you're like, okay, I see it from this shot, but where is that in relation to this item? So trying to figure that out was definitely a struggle, and probably not everything is perfect, and I changed things a lot of times. I made the build smaller, I made it bigger, I kept stretching it around, trying to figure out the best way to do it, but downstairs, this is the fireplace that is right behind the chair that the little girl ends up sitting in. So we're placing that down here. And this room actually ends up being a lot smaller. And I noticed there were some things hanging over the fireplace. That's why I put those like herbs and stuff from, I think those ones are from Realm of Magic in here. I used a lot of Realm of Magic, a lot of Cottage Living, and a lot of vampires in this build, but I didn't limit pack usage because I was just trying to get it as accurate as possible to the movie, and I hope I succeeded. If you guys actually like this build and you'd like to download it, I will hopefully have this up on the Sims 4 gallery now to download. I might not though, because when this video goes live, I'm actually not going to be home. So it might be a couple of days late, but we shall see. Let me know if it's not up, but if it is up, you can find it on the gallery under my origin ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You can also find it under the hashtag Miss Gryphi, and that information will also be in the description down below as well. Here we're trying to find where to put the staircase because, to be honest, I forgot there was a staircase. So I had to figure out where to place that. And I'm actually really happy with how I got this to work out. Also, I noticed there were some brooms hanging up on the wall above where the staircase was, like on a panel piece like this. They were actually horizontal, not vertical, but without using tool, that was the option I had. And here we are making the black flame candle. This is not really what it looks like, but out of what we had in game, I thought this was our closest option, and I thought it was really pretty, so that I figured out was over in this corner here. And then we're just starting to get some cobwebs and spider webs all around the space. There are going to be so many in here, but we're just starting a little bit here. And also there are some that are from Debug and Vampires. These ones are the regular Vampires ones, but the Debug ones you can actually resize. So I ended up grabbing some of those a little bit later. I also wanted to make sure there was a little cauldron in the fireplace, so just adding that over there. Also getting some cracks and tears over here under the cauldron because I'm thinking about when there's all of the green light coming out from under the floorboards and they're like breaking apart. So I wanted that to be represented there. And then I noticed behind in this corner where the chairs were, there was a table, some candles, and pots and pans. So I actually ended up using this pot and pan rack and sizing it up so it's kind of gigantic, but I was thinking it was all for potions or cooking large amounts of things over the cauldron, so it made sense to me. And some of them kind of looked like they were on a coat rack, so I ended up just throwing a coat rack over there. I was trying to clutter up the space and make it have a similar vibe to what it has in the movie, where there's just so much stuff everywhere. It feels kind of spooky, but like some of it is just normal things. There's just excessive amounts of things. So I wanted to get that in here, and also the really pretty light hanging from the ceiling with all the candles on it. Wanted to make sure that was present, and we get lots of boxes and stuff on the top level. You're really not going to be able to walk around on the top level because I put so much clutter up there, but I think the only usable items are really on the bottom level anyway, so it's not too big of a deal. But anyway, over here I wanted to get some paintings and just like some more stuff that looked like it would be in this particular house. Also, that like not cauldron. What would I call that? That chest that I put over in the corner. I was looking for that so much earlier on in this build, trying to find it, and so I was really happy when I found it and placed that down, and I got a couple other ones placed around. And then this trophy case, there were some like display cases like this throughout the build, and I thought it would be nice to include those. I wouldn't say this is entirely based on the beginning of the movie or the middle of the movie, because part of it is like hundreds of years ago, and then part of it is when the movie is taking place in the 90s, and there's like the roped off sections, and it's more of a tourist attraction. I didn't put any of the tourist attraction stuff in it, but maybe some of the items might be based off of that. I think it is current day, not 300 years ago. However, there are a lot of just like random things throughout the space. It's not currently a museum of any sort. I wanted it to be more like it's just been abandoned. So that was what I went for with this build. And you can see I am now grabbing some of those spider webs that I can scale up, and getting some like spell books and garlic and just random things that I thought made sense over here. We get so many candles and vines and cracks and tears, and I actually think some of the stuff from Paranormal worked nicely in here, like the bits of wax, these vines around the cauldron I used. I ended up using one of these things that I think the specters can go in, and what was the other thing I used? There's something else from Paranormal. Oh, I thought about using those goo spots, but I didn't like those in the end. Oh, this chest worked out really nicely. And of course, a lot of the candles are super spooky. I really liked those. So got those, put down some books. I was thinking this vampire book over here was like the spell book that belongs to them, but I also put some other books on the ground that look a little bit more like the book from the movie. And then just cluttering up some more with some spooky things. Some of them are from Star Wars, but they fit the vibe of being in a spooky witch cottage. So they ended up in here and just getting some stuff on the shelves. I ended up placing some random rugs around too to fill in the space and make it look a little bit more cluttered. And getting some more cracks and tears. I just keep going around and adding more. It's like, does it feel done yet? No, let's add some more. So upstairs, going and adding more cracks and tears. I used a lot of these curtains from Spooky Day stuff. They're just like ripped apart. And I also used the couch from Spooky Stuff on the top level. It's just like covered in fabric and we have a lot of candles throughout. I did alter the color of the candles in this build, so they have a slightly purpley hue to them, the lighting in here, which I think just works so nicely. There's a grandfather clock. And then we are outside working on some more vines and finishing up the exterior and making sure, you know, everything looks as destroyed and run down as the rest of the build. Making sure there's enough trees and quite a bit more landscaping to go because I really was focusing on the front of this build at first. But I do fix that here shortly after we get some more cracks and tears on the front. And I think this really does look run down and like it does in the movie. Please let me know what you think. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I had so much fun building this. And yeah, we're going to be heading on into screenshots here shortly. If you liked this video, pretty please give it a thumbs up. That really does help me out. You could also subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I would love to have you join us. And if you click that bell, it'll turn on notifications to be notified of every single time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the screenshots, and I will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.